Just check online, European children's businesses. So much billions these people are making. Thousands are making because they have some YouTube page or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, now again, with Liar taking over that's going to be a whole different thing now. That's going to be different. You know what I mean? They're already starting to shut down people's channels and stuff like that because, you know, it's turning YouTube.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which again goes back again to you know, Dame Dash talking independent for years, talking independent. You know what I mean? You know, we should have our own whatever. You're like, what are you talking about? We need these European corporations and all that type of stuff. Like, no, we don't need them. We got enough amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? We have enough amongst ourselves. Actually, there's another one to put up. Let me just find this one quick fast. It's not like the things aren't happening in our face so that we know that it's time. The things are happening in our face right now. We know that it's time. Right? And how much of it is our people picking up on? Are they picking up on it or are they asleep? Right? Now, you think he's starting up his own school and all that type of stuff, but he doesn't know what's up? You think he doesn't know what's up?
There's no way.
What do you think? More than half. This is bigger than dunks on basketball. Trust that people are on this info and they're doing whatever it is that they can to try to influence our people. That you better get self-sufficient right now. You better take all this finance that you got from these Europeans over the years and be invested it in something for yourself. Because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
This guy's saying free tuition, free uniform, free bike and helmet, free transport, free breakfast, lunch, snacks, food pack, GEDs and job placement for parents. Guaranteed tuition to university for every student who graduates. You tell me who's not graduating from that school right there. Right? And this is one individual. Imagine all of them took the, and again, you know, on the court, I could give a esh about LeBron. Because I gave up on the court stuff a long time ago. Off the court, the man. Right? Laying it down so that the people know. Right? Did that change? No, it didn't change. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing not changing. Let me show you another one. You might have heard about this one already, but
yeah.
Right, this one too. The more. The more launched July 1st, 2018. Took Spanish colonial home built in 1921, right? And they revamped it to a 4-unit hostel. African Moroccan vibe, and they call it the Moor. The design, direction, and property architecture are inspired by the Moors of North Africa's influence. We're trying to do something to inspire our people to do more. Do more. Not pretend like we don't or we can't or whatever. Everybody's in New Orleans, make sure you go check out the Moor. And again, it's Howard University alumni. How come they call their stuff the African, the black or whatever? And then go check how much support they're getting from the quote unquote black community or whatever. Bet you only Europeans go into this spot. Bet you. You know what I mean? Hear Moors, they're offended. You know? They're right, we go, those are the whatever. Right? Where's that other one? Oh yeah. At least trying the best that they can. To inspire our people just to even have a little consideration. Right? They're not they're not yelling at our people. Wake the hell up. Again, half these people, they can't really say too much.
Was that on the what?
Hold on, say it again.
That was like Will Smith. Is that Will Smith?
It's Will
Fresh
Smith.
Prince.
You know what I mean? Him and Nick Cannon, and you already know Nick Cannon got it.
Yes.
His playing around with these people, opened his own bar, all that type of stuff. Right?
Okay, my question is regarding spirituality. I know a lot of, I'm from the island of Kubanakan, so we grew with a lot of Orisha worshiping and other quote-unquote religious systems. So when you come to this knowledge, a lot of Moors are very fond on keeping, you know, the Muslim or Islam culture, and they see any other occult science as abomination. So I would like to know what's your opinion when it comes to if we as Moors should be open to occult science, because I believe we created it. I believe it all came from us. And if we should be open and less judgmental when it comes to other quote-unquote religious systems, spiritual systems, Orisha, Tarot, astrology, all of that stuff.
Yep. All of it is more science. You know, all of it is more science. And when people have this idea of abandoning the divine aspects that we don't understand. As even Nas said it, they hate what they don't understand and fear what they can't conquer. That's the position of our people. They hate what they don't understand and fear what they can't conquer. So as soon as you know, like I was saying earlier, like I'm a son of Olokun, right? Like,
That's funny. I'm a daughter of Jemiah, so.
right. So you know what I mean? Like it's not like we don't try to find the hole in the tree to put some fruits in, or go into the middle of the intersection and put a plate down. Like that's just what it is. Because we acknowledge that everything is more science about there are more, but they don't deal with astrology. Tripping. I told you that you're a more, but you don't deal with Shango and Obatala and Yemeya and all that. There's no way. Anybody talking like that, they don't know more science.
Yes.
Right?
This question was more for other people than for me. But I think it's necessary because a lot of Moors are afraid, and they're afraid of what they don't know. And they are judgmental, very judgmental to the Moors that embrace what we know. And I believe that Moors like us in the island kept that culture intact. So the Moors coming into knowledge now can tap into it.
Right. No doubt. Even when you look at with Toussaint Louverture. You think they beat those Europeans just with some guns or whatever? They beat those Europeans with guns only. They had their people doing
Stuff.
other in the background, guaranteed, right? Mao. You think Didan Kamathi and them people weren't dealing in some occult sciences or whatever? You think these Europeans are scared because of, you know, the Moors are or you know, black people are strong and they're bigger than them and all that? No, they're scared of our divine connection. That's what they fight. They push their whole Christianity and whatever like that on our people, because they know that it's going to shut down their connection to the Orisha. And once just like you said, I don't know if you were there earlier when we were talking about the sister.
Yes,
that,
I was here. Yeah.
You know, like one of her biggest things was, you know, that these people, and again, we're speaking from her being Olokun, so this is Olokun talking. It's not sister talking.
No.
It
takes you over.
Yeah, like the ancestors have abandoned these people. This is 2000, 2004, 2005. She was talking like this. You know what I mean? These people are abandoned by the ancestors. Just look at what they're going through in their life. That proves they have no ancestors in their life.
And people don't understand that there is certain thing as fallen ancestors, just like fallen angels. If you don't honor your ancestors are in a corner just dry like a dead cilantro. They are not there. They are not in a position to assist you. So honoring the ancestors gives them life, elevate them to a certain position where they can aid you. And people don't get that.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, you know, like I'm a Moor, right? But like I got my shrine right there. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like
yes.
They have their water on the shrine and all that stuff. You know?
I see your pyramid, I see
you. Know? A little closer for you.
That's beautiful.
Right?
I know.
I see. It looks like a ganga.
They're gonna give me my protection. I ain't know about anybody else. I'll get mine from them for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's something that you know, only when you get to this level, only when you get to the level of moral science do you realize how much things are part of this. You weren't told.
JP Morgan said millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. People that know that there is certain planet movement that you don't supposed to be doing certain things. And don't you think that's why certain Europeans don't sign certain contracts during retrograde? For example, right now Mercury retrograde is not a good time to sign no contract. There's no car, no nothing. It's just sit down and don't sign anything. And they know it. They know it. And we are the ones that don't know it, and we fail to recognize it, and then we ask why things are not going our way, because you're not moving with the stars. That's why.
Let me just put this one up too, since we're talking about that.
Are you looking for free reading?
Is the currency of the universe. When you pay attention to something, you buy that experience. To focus on someone or something that annoys you, you feed it your energy and it reciprocates with the experience of being annoyed. Be selective in your focus because your attention feeds the energy of it and keeps it alive, not just within you, but in the collective consciousness as well. Regardless of the planet, a retrograde usually signals a period of delayed progress or disruption, where we experience that stalling effect, however, depends on which planet happens to be retrograde. With so many planets hitting their backspin at once, which is like right now, I think we got 4 planets in retrograde right now, which is crazy. Nobody should be doing anything right now.
Yes.
You can feel like your hands are tied and all you can do is wait for the retrogrades to end. Never fear, you can still go about your daily life with relative ease, though the heavens would appreciate it if you did so with a little more care for the next few months. Because we believe it or not, retrogrades don't solely occur to drive us nuts. They can actually teach us to slow down and act more thoughtfully as well as we're ready to learn, as long as we're ready to learn that lesson.
Yep. Yep.
So you have to be willing to learn the lesson that is more science.
Yes, it's just like people saying the moon doesn't affect them. If the moon affects the ocean and we are 70% water, don't you think the moon will affect you? And we fail to move, and look at the moon. Like today is a very important moon. Today is a new moon. It's where we set intentions.
Yep.
So in a few months from now, we can see the manifestations. We are not going to see nothing right now because of all the retrogrades. But we plant the seed. When you plant the seed, the plant don't grow in 3 days. It takes time. But if you don't plant the seed, you will never have nothing to sow.
Yeah. You see, have an opportunity with planting the seed.
Exactly, and it's a solar eclipse and then new moon in Leo, which is just very powerful. And I would love our people, my people, Moors, to really get in tune with that type of stuff so they can advance and in life and all of this stuff,
Like we were saying earlier, that this is where Moors that have certain expertise, have to present their expertness. Just because, it's not gonna happen if the one doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like it's like we say with us having the temple out here, right? It was that wanted this to happen. This is part of what Noble Drew Ali laid down in the 1900s, that he was coming up here to set up a temple here and all that. The seed was planted back then. The just manifested now. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like this was our brilliant idea to have a temple here. You know what I'm saying? It was all divine intervention. It was all the spiritual mystic work that we've been doing or whatever that lined us up to be in the position that we're at. Yes. And again, it's time for Moors to start doing and exercising, but that is not limited to go to court or deal with highwaymen. You know what I mean? You there have an institution where if, and I'm pretty sure Brother Jamal's is good with it, that you do some classes to get people, get their feet wet with regard to accepting this spiritual side that they maybe have never considered because nobody ever told them that, the Orishas are theirs too. You know what I mean? Like when you look at Obatala, Allah's in Obatala.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, if Obatala is looked at as one of the chief Orishas and Allah is in his name, then what does that say about Allah? You know what I mean? If we say, we talk to any Nigerian, any Ghanaian, and they know about Orishas and all that stuff, and then they see us in fezzes, and they're looking at us like, oh, wow, you got fez on and stuff like that. Only Igbo chiefs wear those, and only princes wear those, and only kings and only whatever wear those. They see sisters with their turban, oh my gosh, you're wearing white and all that type of stuff. So you must know about the Orishas and whatever. All these are things letting us know that the time is now, that people have been waiting for the Moors to get caught up. People have been waiting for the Moors to get to that position where they can actually point out a Moor and say, go ask that guy, or go ask that sister right there. Because they're the ones that actually know what's up. And we're in that place right now. You know what I mean? And again, like we were saying earlier, there should be a women's auxiliary. Wherever there's a body of Moors, there should be a separate entity that only the women that are part of that. And they're taking the position of, you know, looking at all the so-called men as their sons, and all the so-called children as their children too, regardless of which womb they came out of. And taking that power that Noble Drew Ali gave them while they were unconscious in his arms, and using that power now, because you're not in his arms anymore unconscious. You're awake now. You're not 101 questionnaire Moabitises. That's not what's going on. Even though we still have that book today with that sister unconscious on the cover, they're not unconscious no more. You're up now. I'm seeing, you know, brothers and sisters with turbans and fezzes on, and Noble Drew Ali prophesied that we're going to see the streets filled with turbans and fezzes. That's going on right now. It might not even be Asiatics. It might be other people that Asiatics inspired to say, oh yeah, on your fez. For example, let me put that one there too. If you heard a few classes ago, we're talking about recognizing forms. So one of these teachers right here, one day I had on my kufi. Sister Miriam, if anybody knows Sister Miriam Bay, she make knitted feathers. So I was wearing the knitted feathers. And the feather is more like a kufi, right? Red with a black tassel on it. Went to European, said, hey, I like your fez. Like my fez? I don't like fez right now. Well, you know what I mean, symbolically, you know, I know that you're wearing a fez. All right. I have a fez at home. Yeah, when I went to Turkey or Egypt or something like that, you know, I got the fez or whatever. So, you should wear our feathers. You wanna do it? All right, let's do it. So this is the day that we wore our feathers. Whole school tripping. Yo, what's going on? Like, why are you guys wearing those? How come you're wearing those? You know, like, and this was just to capture the moment. And when we start being ourselves, we start activating who we are. Other people are going to step up and let us know that either yeah, you're on point or whatever like that, or you know, you're full of BS. And if this European knows what's up, right? Now also a sister, a young sister, and hey, where's the bikini hat or whatever? Like, well, you know, this is our culture or whatever. Like, well, you got any witness because you're in front of the genie right now. He's like, yeah, money. Give a stack of paper. She didn't go. Right? She claimed she wanted money, so I gave her paper. But it's obvious that right now, it's wake-up time for our people. If they don't want to wake up, then they'll continue to be resonant in the slime of life, like Noble Drew Ali talked about. Getting nothing, getting no respect, no honor, no appreciation, just being what it is that they've always been, these people's property. And get what the rest of the tour. One on the high road will be looking at these structures fall on the low road. And at that time, it's going to be too late because you're not going to be able to get from the low road to the high road once there's no low road. You're going down with the low road if you're on the low road.
Thank you.
All right, sis, peace.
Peace.
No questions at all.
You know how it goes. After class, you're gonna bombard you with questions.
Yeah, I'm not answering none of them. I have a question.
Yes, more.
It's kind of like a multiple questions because you're always active on YouTube. It's like you're dropping videos every week. You're doing like the whole Canaanland Morris Presents. As an example, you did, Canaanland Morris Presents, and you did one of my videos. How do you find these videos? And then what made you kind of want to share our video or the video that I did? Because if it wasn't for you doing that, not a lot of Moors would know that this area has Moors in it.
Well, when growing up in this, the Moors imparted to us that, we have to keep our eyes open because of this new Moors with their eyes wide open or whatever. You know what I mean? And there's so many Moors that we deal with that we can't acknowledge everybody because we do with mad Moors. But any opportunity that we get to plug or push or advance some attention to Moors who I think are doing something. You know what I mean? We're gonna plug them. You know what I mean? Watching those early classes that you used to do. Just two of you guys in there or whatever like that.
Hey, we came up.
He's laughing his ass off.
He's like, when you were lonely.
He was talking to the whole wolf.
Take me back to when even when we were in the black stuff and we were doing we had this program called Rome, Re-Education of African Minds. And Rome was basically us getting a room, put at that time VHS, at that time was VHS machine or whatever, with a TV in there, and we just watch videos for hours. You know what I mean? And that's exactly how it started. Maybe like a year and a half. It was just me. Actually, it was me and the same brother. KTS was in his building, his party room in his building that we used to do these little view the documentary type of program, Rome, Re-Education of African Minds, and it would be me and we'd just be in there chilling. You know what I mean? Watching whatever. Like we would have the full whatever there. You know what I mean? Put in one, and you know how it goes with the tapes. You could do the SLP, the LP, or whatever like that. So sometimes you might put on a tape and you got three-hour lectures on there. You know what I mean? Us there, for about a year and a half, just us. It was it? I think it was Tuesdays too. Coming to think about it, I think it was Tuesday night, 7 to 9 or something like that, 6 to 8 or something. And we would just be in there, just watching stuff. And eventually, word started getting out. And, then we had a full room of people, you know what I mean? But again, at that time, it wasn't Moorish paradigm. We were just some brothers who were interested in our people knowing more about themselves. So we would just, open the forum for people. So that's really what it was, It threw me back to damn, like, it could still work like that. You know what I mean? There's still people out there who they're committed to the point of they're gonna sit there with themselves and do class for themselves, and we always look at it. There was a lecture, there was a Taj Street Bay lecture, and there was a sister that wasn't getting it. Like, you know what I mean? No matter how, whatever we presented, it wasn't getting it. So stopped and he told the sister, okay, come out of yourself and teach yourself. You know what I mean? And we always looked at it like, yeah, that's what it is that we were doing. We were actually, you know, we were actually in the seat, but our higher self was outside of ourselves while we sat there watching, you know, I mean, whatever it is that we were watching, because it was just the two of us or whatever. So it was just inspiring, you know what I mean, to know that, yeah, this is real. People are really gravitating to this information. So, you know, why not, you know, use our platform? Because I mean, I still don't look at this, but Morris tell me this all the time, that, yo, if it wasn't for Canaan Land Moors or whatever like that, you know, we probably wouldn't know in the way that we know about it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it was just something about Canaan Land Moors classes that wasn't the normal classes. It wasn't the too advanced, like you're watching some Taj or whatever, but it wasn't Moor Science Temple, and we're disgusted with Moors because these guys are doing church. And we just left the church, and we don't want to go back to church again, especially at Moors. Why should we be in church and praying and all this type of stuff? So, yeah, it was really, you know, an inspirational thing. You know what I mean? With anybody whose stuff that we uploaded, you know, as far as, you know, Canaan Land Moors Presents or whatever, it was just, you know, these people are doing what it is that we used to do or how we do it or whatever like that. So why not, you know, let them get some views off our rep. And we already know that, you know, the lesson that, you know, the Moors are gonna come with their eyes wide open. And if we were looked at as new Moors in 08 when we came into this, then who are these new Moors 2012, 13, 15, 18, you know what I mean, 2020, you know what I mean, Moors coming in the field. Like, what kind of new Moors are they gonna be? You know what I'm saying? You know, what does new imply after us? You know what I mean? And yourself, even with I was talking with him more yesterday about Brother Latif Bey. You know, European killing them harder than any more. That's in killing them, giving them so much goods. Even the other European B God, you know, came out and he dropped the whole stuff. You're on 32nd degree or whatever like that. You guys need to honor Noble Drew Ali if you're black or whatever. What you guys talking about? I got picked with Drew Ali, you know what I mean, as a European. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, want to give a shout out to you too. You know what I mean? Thank you for staying on the course. You know what I mean? Even though it seemed daunting at times, just two people in the room or whatever. But you know, nobody in this, like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
You know what I mean? But
sitting, after class, we used to sit in her car for hours, like at night, just.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I was straight up crying.
Yeah. You know, because you're thinking that it's not, you know, still looking at it from the mundane perspective.
Yeah.
Like the sister said, not recognizing that you sitting in that room or whatever, that's you and the ancestors, council of the elders. You know what I mean? The meeting of the gods or whatever like that.
And speaking of the sister, we after one Saturday we went out to eat. Lo and behold, she worked at the restaurant. I was all sad and shit. Where's all the Moors at? Where's all the people that care? Where are the people at? Right? I'm sitting there just, crying. You know, my life sucks. Right? Then we're leaving the restaurant. She comes running out. Hey, y'all the Moors? I turn around like, yeah. She said, oh, there's a lot of Moors in this area, you know, what's the contact info, blah, 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 and now look at this room. And it was her, you know what I mean? She came running out. Like, quick. So
I was with a European that day.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me. Yeah. I saw a friend, I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, a lot of this isn't me at all. Like, it's not me at all. And I think people think that, but it almost has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's the people.
Right. And again, that's, you know, that's what Drew Ali did this for. You know what I mean? the reason why we have this impact, is because the people need a change. Like everybody's tired of the same old BS. Everybody's tired marching, even though they might still go on the march. They're sick of that marching. You know what I mean? They're sick of people getting killed by these people and then nobody's getting indicted. They might not know what to do, but they're sick of it. You know what I'm saying? They're sick of IRS coming down on them and trying to take their little stuff that they got. You know what I mean? It's not even that serious. You know what I'm saying? Because they got people that owe them way more than brother or whatever like that. They're not going after them. Them people actually getting passes. They get adjournments and come back in 20 years and we'll see that. So it's all part of where things supposed to be, where it's going. But we know that the people are at that stage where they want to see change. The only problem is that that so-called Willie Lynch curse, has them in that place of not wanting to do it for themselves. Like, they got sisters right now who know how to do those nails and all that stuff. They never opened their own spot. They got sisters right now who know how to put in weave better than anybody. They'll never be the producer of weaves. They're always going to somebody else to go get the stuff and then shortchanging themselves because you can't supply the demand if you don't have the supplies. You know what I mean? If you have to go to somebody else to get the supplies, you're done for. Because you jack the price up on you, and then now you can't supply anything. You know what I'm saying? Which these people know that's how it is. You know what I mean? They know that our people are on one hit wonder. Every album go platinum. They want one album go platinum and then they're good for the rest of their whatever. No, you gotta be going platinum every album. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have any longevity, if you're gonna make a name for yourself. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Any questions? You have a question? You want to come up in the hot seat?
Bring it all.
I'm new. Just got here. All the way from Jersey, 4-hour drive.
Right on time. Don't worry.
Okay. I just got my son on Monday, so I'm trying to what's the first step for me to start new preparation? I need a jurisdiction using my daughter's birth certificate to register for school and stuff like that. Social Security card. She was in school for their same birth certificate and Social Security card again. So if I have a card, I don't want to put her under a jurisdiction. I'm under more. I grab out myself. How would I go about doing that? Start removing myself from
remember that you're we'll use this example. There's one of the ones out here, brother Mario Bay. He has 3 children in the school system.
Okay.
Right? They're in the system under a straw name.
Okay.
But nothing happens in that school without them calling him. Because he's the guardian. So his position was, if anything's going on, my children being put into type of wardship, like Black History Month or sexual education, whatever like that, you call me so I can approve of any and everything that happens with them. Right? And again, they're in the system as straws. Don't deal with them color. You know what I mean? Right? So, you know, don't necessarily, and then the other part of it too is being that you have Moors there, you know, it's as simple as creating your uh, birth record for your offspring, for your heirs, and use that to show that they are who you say that. Like we spoke about earlier, um, our people's limited capacity for intelligence have put us behind, and because we've been so comfortable in this subordinate position, it's automatically expected for us to be subordinate to everything, right? But once you have the information, it's bigger than a paper said something or a card said something. It's really about you exercising what it is that you know. So it's earlier about not doing things that you don't know. You know, if you don't know about, if you haven't been studying right to travel for 3 years or something like that, you shouldn't be talking about take off plates and put on some new stuff and go out there doing stuff. Because you're eventually going to bump into that individual who knows more than you, and now they got you. Because they can pull you in the jurisdiction without you even knowing that you're in the jurisdiction. One of the examples I want to use was he went to court, and he was standing on, you know, where's the delegation of authority order? You have to prove who you are, or whatever like that. And then the judge said something like, oh, I see that you're wearing a fez or whatever like that. Is that the fez of the Moors and whatever like that? And then the brother started talking about, you know, whatever. Now he's in the jurisdiction. You're talking subject matter when you're supposed to be challenging jurisdiction. You're supposed to be making sure everybody has their status on the record before we start talking about anything. You know, another situation was sister had a situation where she went to court, and the prosecutor and her were going back and forth, back and forth. The judge got fed up. The judge was like, you know what? I'm going to ask you one question, and that will determine whether you come with us or you go home. Do you live in the city of whatever? The city of whatever, that's corporation, not dismiss, go home. Not the papers that she sent or none of that. No, let me see your ID, nothing. You know, the judges got to the point where they were like, yo, you know what? This is going nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm hungry. I want to go on lunch or whatever like that. So you need to figure this out right now. It was based on mindset. Where was that sister's mind at? Where was that brother's mind at? So Brother Amari's mindset was, if I'm the parent, if I'm the guardian, then you got to do what I say, because you're public servant. You're or whatever like that. You don't really have clout like how you claim you got clout, especially if I know better. So he wrote to the superintendent, and he CC'd the principal and CC'd all the different, you know, ministries of education, whoever's. Nobody responded to him, but him dealing with them completely changed. You know what I mean? They started dealing with him to deal with his children, not dealing with his children, then deal with him. Like, you know, how, something's going to happen, then they're going to bring them to the office and then have a conversation and then call parents later when they go. Like, they're calling him when, you know what I mean? They'll be in the principal's office waiting for dad to come to the school to deal with whatever it is that they're calling it. You know, and again, it's a thing of you know, there's other Moors who same thing. You know, once you put your position down of how, um, once you show them that you know that they don't really have the jurisdiction that they, then they start dealing with you differently. And it doesn't have to be that you sent some papers or you did whatever. It's really based on what energy are you approaching them with. You know what I mean? Like they got, for example, I think it's Brother Yusuf's son. He'll be telling the teacher, what's up? You know what I mean? Because at home, he's learning from dad who's a Moor. So he's on the school bus and they're talking about fiat and all that type of stuff and what is money and is this is the United States a country and all this type of stuff. They're 8, 9, 10 or whatever. That's the discussions they're having going home on the bus. You know what I mean? They're not talking about bikes and all that type of stuff. They're talking about law. They're talking about history. You know what I mean? They're talking about what happened in school. How do we deal with that? What did you learn or whatever? Well, you know, that's not really right and all that type of stuff. These are children. You know what I mean? So if they're taking that position of knowing the truth about their nationality and birthrights, and then they're applying it, and it's having an impact on their peers around them. That's really where we need to be at, really. It's not even really about us. It's really about them being the ones to change this thing around. Because what are they going to tell a child who knows what's up? They're going to tell them, they're going to say that? And I get where you're coming from with engaging them and the instruments and things like that. But I even see a lot of those things as detractors, things to get you away from that. Drew Ali said this is about going back to the mindset. Like the sis was saying earlier, if you know the Orishas and stuff like that, trust me, you can put certain people's name on certain candles or whatever like that, and they wouldn't bother your children anymore.
I have one more question about the taxes, property tax and the taxes that take out your wages. What can I submit to my employer or to the city to get away from that, or is that time I gotta wait 3 years to study, or just question? Just wondering.
If you go to RV Bay Publication, they have a book on there called Moorish
Civic something. It's the book. I have a book.
Civic Service, whatever.
Yeah, I have that book.
Yeah. So that right there gives the breakdown of all that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I would say, opposed to me telling you something, I would say check that reference point.
Okay.
And in that book, they have the forms and they have all the different, stuff that you can do. As far as taxes thing. But then also remember that, from the spiritual perspective, always remember that there's no money.
Right.
They're not really taking, just like you're not really getting paid, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is where it comes into, us doing for ourselves. Now we know what we're getting. Opposed to assuming we're getting something and then mad because, well, we didn't get enough or whatever. They need to make the thing $15 an hour instead of $10 an hour. Well, whether it's $15 or $10, you're not getting nothing. They really just want your energy. So it's all about us really trying to extract our energy and put it where it really go and not get caught up in, they're taking something or it's really about energy. You can also go on RV Bay and get the offer. and see what their King Alfred plan.
Okay.
King, yeah. And then that would I would have just referenced it, but I sent my copies printed. But that they're talking about this aspect of energy and how what it is that you want. What they're really after is to get your energy, and finance is a ploy to get you to think it's about that, right? So, and that goes with the same thing with, like when you get that call from the principal, that affects your energy. They know exactly what it is that they're doing. Sometimes you might not even get a call from the principal. They send the child home with the letter or whatever. And then you're getting the, letter. You don't have anybody to release that energy to. You're stuck holding it. You know what I mean? Because they know that, if they would have called during the day and then they got to deal with it, now you're, giving it to them. I mean, you're taking it from them.
And also in that same book, my last question, it says something about your putting your straw man name as a shelf company.
As a?
Putting your straw man name as a shelf company, have somebody else do it. You can't do your own name. Just incorporate your name as a shelf company, your straw man name.
So
Would I have the book? Hold on.
because one of the issues with the whole straw man thing with people coming into this information is you never address any of those stuff as yours.
Right. Okay, that's what I did get out of it.
My this or my card, my whatever. That's not your property. That's their property.
Okay.
And by taking possession of it, you also take the energies that come with it. So we might say, we might have a situation or whatever, and we talking about my license, and then you realize that all you're around is police all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're calling them. By calling the thing yours, anything attached to that is going to come too. Right? So we always refer to it as the instrument, or our instrument, or their instrument. So that way you can take that energy off of you, right? But at the same time, now you're able to administer something, whether it's remedy or payback or whatever. It's not on you now. So when they talk about doing anything with when they talk about doing anything with the, being that it's from a bankrupt, insolvent, dissolved corporation, it really doesn't have the power of being something. It's dissolved, been dissolved. And then the people's energy is what gives it life. Remember, all these people that say, they're part of some government, they're part of anything having to do with U.S. democracy or Canada democracy or any democracy anywhere in the world, know that they're occultists and they know about witchcraft, black magic, white magic, and all that. Exactly what they're doing by putting certain things out the way that they put it out. So the first really a Negro black color. The first birth certificate, the first license, the first everything of these instruments that these people are purporting as being a need of the people was really first a Negro, a black, or a colored. So the people saying, well, more, they're not Negro, black, colored, and then Moors are saying, well, my birth certificate and my license and then clearly they're still Negro, black, colored. Because you're claiming it. And once you claim it, that's not human trafficking. Once you claim it, that's not on them now. You claimed it. And again, and ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you claimed it under ignorance, you're double responsible now. You know what I mean? Really, it should be, you know, like with what Noble Drew Ali was teaching, that, you know, the fact that these names were given to slaves by slaveholders, right? Which is why we shouldn't be dealing with them as being attached to us. It's the same thing when we look at the instrument. Those instruments came from slaveholders. Instruments come from democracy. You know what I mean? They showed that in what movie was it again? One of these slave movies that they just came out with over the past 2 years or whatever. When they're about to lynch a brother, then the brother came out the bushes or whatever, and they're like, hey, where are you going over? I got my little slave, I got my little pass right here to say that slave master allowed me to plantation or something like that. And then they're like, oh, fine, you can go about doing whatever it is that you're doing for your slave master. That's the license. Like that was a driver's license. That was a social. That was a birth certificate. That was an instrument to let these slave people know that, you know, the ones who don't have these instruments are the ones that are correct. They have to get the cash because they're down with the program. When we look at this is where I find this. But then we look at certain people in history, they don't even play that game with our people. One of the individuals was oh yeah, here it is right here, right? Prominent black. No. I did not deal with the slave program, right? Frederick Douglass began his life in bondage, right? So we could say he began his life with birth certificates and all the stuff, right? He was in Baltimore where he learned trips. That was not given to him, but to his first step to freedom was to borrow the identity papers of a freed slave. They never talk about that part. They never talk about the individual who all these black people recognize or whatever. He had sold from a slave in order to get out of slavery. He declared he's not a slave. The position of letting people, in order to be free, I better not be having any type of slave documents or whatever. I need the free people's documents. The Underground Railroad, Tubman and all that, they're full things on the Underground Railroad. That's how you get out of slavery. We're going to go in the bushes. We're going to put on a tie on you, put a shirt on, get out of the torn up trousers or whatever. We're going to walk out of slavery. plantation. Anywhere we go, as soon as they look, and they're, those aren't supposed to be slaves or whatever. You know? And then, you know, again, with the whole slave thing, why is it that our people are the that have so much interaction with these quote unquote highwaymen? Because the first highwaymen were the slave patrols, who were found runaway slaves. Right? They had the 5-point star and all that, claiming that they're slave patrol. You know, if the thing is, if the vibe is you have children and, you know, you want to do what you can to save them and make sure they don't whatever, then teach up what you. You sending some paper on their behalf. You just teach them what they know. Trust. There's enough Moors with children out that know this information that they shut anybody out. Anybody. Just because their parents said, you know what, we're not gonna just let you go to the Europeans and get brainwashed. When you get home, we're gonna detox you of all the BS that they just taught you today. Put in the real stuff so that when you tomorrow, you could question them on all the BS that they taught you yesterday and see what they. Right? Okay. And if it comes into that thing of, well, they don't like that, and don't worry, just tell them call home. Matter of fact, they should already got the writ to know that if there's any issues, because there's going to be issues, if your children are saying they're more, they know about themselves or whatever like that, when they go to these institutions, they're going to have issues. Not with other students, they're going to have a teacher. All that a child is having about learning. It was like one of these Moorish children got detention because the teacher was talking about whiteboard. They're going to go on the whiteboard. You need to go to the whiteboard and go write something or whatever like that. And then the student is telling them that the board's black. Why are you calling the board white? Before you write over like that, students telling them, don't you know that black? Don't you know that white is a status and not a color? Whatever. That teacher shut down, sent him to the office. Gets the call. Parent comes to the school or whatever. Everybody's like, you got trouble or whatever like that. Then go to the office, high fives all around. Good job. Good job. These are the incompetent people you have teaching my children, and you're talking about you guys at school or whatever. You know what I mean? I think even the teacher got a transfer or something like that because they just do it. As far as the school. Yeah, because you know you're not gonna end their career. You know, like it's not, you know, like even when Morris talk about yeah, we're gonna this is something too I forgot to bring up. We're gonna go sue them because they violated us or whatever like that. These Europeans are gonna call it diversity of citizenship. That's gonna be their defense. Oh well, how can you sue me? I'm a European. You have a right to sue me or whatever like that. We're diverse nationalities, which is the same argument that Moors are making when they get sued by corporate state or whatever. They don't have jurisdiction over me. How you got a jurisdiction over me? Bring me to court or whatever. The majority of these Europeans, just like the Chinese and the Hindus and the whoever else, that's not really their name. Like I was talking with them more yesterday about, you know, if you a Chinese guy named Ben, know that they know about nationality birthrights. comment all that. There's no way that this Chinese guy's name is Ben. Ben Chin. He says Ben Chin on it though. But he knows that that's not his name. He knows that that's a corporate front for him to be over here to do whatever it is he has to do. When the stuff comes down to the get down, he's taking the stuff, go back to where he came from. Not staying here dealing with BS. They're just going to take whatever it is that they got and they're going to go about their business somewhere else.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the main thing is making sure that those children get this information.
Yes.
They're gonna do their information than we ever thought that we could do. Especially when you look at this millennial generation and online generation, children and stuff like that, they're years ahead of where we were. They got 2-year-olds using an iPad. Trust. Light years ahead of where we were. Their energy is diverted into where it shouldn't really be. All right, sis.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone got a question? Just go. I'm sitting with some papers right now, so if you got a question, just sit in the hot seat and ask.
Does anybody have a question? No? I don't think there's any more questions.
Now, two more. One of them is African American religion. African American religions, 1500 to 2000. African American religions, 1500 to 2000. Colonial democracy and freedom. The importance of Moors getting this book is because they talk on the cover and all. We're just talking about African American religions, but they made a point to make sure that they put your prophet on the cover of their book, talking about African American religion. The foundation of religion in America. So make sure you get this one. We're talking about food, bay, and all of that in this. Anybody. Everybody gets called up. Is Islam in the African American experience by Frank Turner. Islam in the African American experience. More than this, I'd like to. Okay, so this is it's 143. In 1961, I went back to Philadelphia. The largest group was Elijah Muhammad's group. Most militant Muslims were on the coast. We didn't give into negativism with them. We remained aloof from them. Most of the people in the Ahmadiyya were all from the 1920s and 1930s. They were not involved in nationalism. America, when I was younger, involved in the Black Panthers and all that nationalism. We like to say that Elijah Muhammad was by Mufti Muhammad Sadiq. There is a photograph that exists of Elijah Muhammad and Mufti Muhammad Sadiq sitting together on the stage with Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey. They didn't know each other. There's a picture that exists, and just go ask the NOI or whatever, they probably got it, with a picture of Elijah Muhammad and Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, Ali and Marcus Garvey on the stage. Now, when we go to Marcus Garvey, Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, I have him putting it out about nationality to the Negroes. If you devote as much time studying Marcus Garvey, then the amount of time attempting to persuade me that you do, you would be aware of this fact. Because the Negro is not happy and will never be until he is restored to his own nationality. And my ability to continue my work on this behalf will bless the nation, for as Thomas Paine said, no man can brought destroyed. Now, to the Garveyite, after Marcus got kidnapped and they were about to deport him, and he wrote this letter to all the Garveyites so that they know how the Negro could be happy and what it would take for the Negro to be happy, and that would be for him and her to be restored to their own nationality, not somebody else's nationality, to their own. Now, we know that him speaking like this to the teachers of no, and in the newspaper, the Chicago Defender, Brother Robert Abbott, in there dealing with Noble Drew Ali returns after a long visit south. Noble Drew Ali, founder and head of the Moorish National Divine Movement, has returned to the city after an extended visit in the south. Prophet Ali motored from Chicago to Atlanta, Georgia, where he spent a few hours visiting Marcus Garvey in the federal prison. Mr. was pleased with the splendid, uplifting work being done by the Moorish Divine Movement. The organization has launched a drive for more members. Persons desirous of learning of the work that is being done are right Prophet Ali, 603 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. And then notice that, you know, the honors that Brother Abbott had for Noble Drew Ali, that he had the Noble Drew Ali mustache. And then he had his fedora fez. Because everybody was down with what this man was doing. Everybody was game. Everybody was on board. But until 1930, that stuff started going nuts. And also look into an article called The Sheiks of Sedition. The Sheiks of Sedition are the Prophet Muhammad Bey, Mother Jesus Rosie Bey, and Kansas Moore. Of Sedition, Father Prophet Muhammad Bey, Mother Jesus Rosie Bey, and the Kansas City Moore. Another connection that we want to make is stressing the importance of even Islam knowing for real what's up. Because there's a lot of diverting attention from the nation of Islam to the Baltimore Moorish Science Temple of America that deals with the naturalization. Naturalized, or Moors being made foreigners in their own land. So this is an excellent letter. They consulted with me in a private meeting and indicated that they had come into concern for your well-being and your safety in your return trip to the USA. Now, this was when Mr. Farrakhan went to visit Gaddafi or whatever like that, and he was talking all this BS about, you know, he's a Haitian and they can't tell him where he could go and he could want all this type, right? Whoever he wants to see because he's the Asiatic black man and all this BS. And they were trying to say, we're not letting you back in the country. They gave me a briefing. They gave me a briefing on their views and literature. Gave us an excellent presentation on their teachings and the views of which, as examples, Jesse Jackson and Muhammad Ali. So the whole Jesse Jackson and Muhammad Ali, remember Jesse Jackson was the individual who took over the powers after Martin Luther King got assassinated. He pointed that our people are African American, and everybody ran with that. Then on the second hand, you have Muhammad Ali, who was Cassius Clay, and he was able to avoid the draft because he had a free national name of Ali. And when you go back and you watch the campaign that he had against going into the draft, he kept on pressing the point that the people over there are his brothers and sisters. That no brown individual violated him, like how Europeans violated him. So why is he gonna go over there and fight them when he's got enemy right here that he can fight? Bottom line, there was a need for you to be naturalized as a Moorish American to escape the legal jurisdiction of the US government actions against you. Well, look at the contradiction that they know, in speaking to him, these are the Moorish Sheiks. They know in Farrakhan that his return trip was to the United States of America. Who does government? They know that much. Just like we put out in the video on our channel yesterday with they called the president a CEO. He knows that the president's a CEO, then he knows that U.S. is a corporation, which is why he's pushing his whole concept of being independent. Documented was presented papers for the naturalization process. The Moorish Sheiks, accompanied by your legal counsel, Sister Ava Muhammad, who wanted to evaluate the legal merit of the Moorish position. Under the new crescent moon and star in the western sky, still set with the sunset, I felt the spirits of Kudjo Ali and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Something very, very special has occurred in the reunification of the Moorish Science Temple and the marriage with our allies. And what did they do? And if they know that much to go have meetings or whatever like that, the temple in Baltimore, how come they're not telling people that they're Moors? How come all they do is show pictures of Noble Drew Ali? How come all they do is talk about, you know, wars from a third party, but not, you know, for real. That, you know what? We've been lying since the 1930s. We've been lying to you. This is really not a nation of Islam. This is really a temple of Islam because we came under the Moorish. That's why our stuff was called Temple of Islam. That's why all the fruits of Islam, or the FY, used to wear fezzes. That's why in the earth literature of the Nation of Islam, you had Fard Prophet Fard. In person, he was Prophet Fard first. But they had to reel in all the people that they were going to steal from Detroit. They know how many people honored and respected and appreciated teaching Kudjo. They knew exactly where this thing could have gone. But again, people had their motives. People had in order to be in this position right now where they're at, where they run stuff right now. They're in a position right now where they can go get, Washington Mall so that they can go march and picket. Going and marching and picketing to the same people who use those same Washington whatever as auction block to sell Negroes. That's where they're deciding to go for their really bring all the Negroes together and get them on this auction block and talk about justice or else, and no or else happened yet. Later, still no or else yet. That these people have been continue to play with our people, which is why it's important for Moors to step their stuff up. Because we got about 100 years of catching up to just on the level of our people. Forget processes and proclaiming stuff, just letting them know what's up. And again, we have all these examples. Yassine Bey told these people, don't call me most deaf ever again. I'll slap all of you if you call me. Like, I am Yassine Bey, right? Yassine Bey called out his sister. They did a show together. Erykah Badu calling herself Badu the L. Then they don't know what's up. You know what I mean? But then when Morris talk, oh, yeah, everybody got a problem, you know what I mean? And again, we're going to bring it up again that, Nas came out, put out all this stuff, called himself for more on the album or whatever like that. These people aren't even talking about his album. Like, how are people not talking about Nas dropped a new album? How? Like, how is hip-hop people not talking about this? Why are they not talking about it? Like, something must be going on why they're not talking about it. They talk about everybody else. All these, whoever, rapper, whatever, is getting airplay every day, all day. Not start telling these people that they're Moors. All that stuff to show that it's real. Nobody's hearing what he's saying. He's getting blackballed right now. He's supposed to be one of the top 5 MCs or whatever. Getting blackballed, then this must be real.
We're running out of time here.
All right.
With the place that we have, and also
our
internet connection is starting to lag. There was a couple of questions online about business. You already spoke on that, and I would say to anyone that wants to open a Moorish business, study business. And someone asked about Iron Sheik 7.
Well, for as far as the business part of it, offer the UN Declarations of Indigenous Rights, that as indigenous people, everything that we do is our culture, not business. So start a Moorish business out your mind and exercise our culture. If our culture is holistic health, then anything in that arena is our culture. I don't care if you're selling stuff, giving it away, or whatever. That's our culture that we're exercising. And as far as Iron Sheik 7, it's in the works still. Album's done. We're just getting the graphics and stuff taken care of and all that. But like we said, the individuals who are in attendance are getting the first listen off the album. Brother Jamal's is gonna send the emails out to me. We'll get all the individuals who are there. They have their own listening party for the Iron Sheik 7. And you know, you've heard we put out a few of the songs already, but you know, there's a little bit more. There's a more on it. And also too, willofallah.com. If you haven't familiarized yourself with anything Iron Sheik, you can go get Iron Sheik 1 to 6, plus mix CDs and other stuff on there, willofallah.com. And for any books, I know Brother Jamal's has some there. Media.com. My books I have 6 books out there. You Run Black Colored, Who Stole the Furs, Moors Are Shriners, Welcome to Canada, Spirituality Plenipotentiaries, Watch My Prophecies, and the #1 seller with myself and Brother Salam El, 77 Amazing Facts About the Moors in honor of J.A. Rogers' book.
So I brought his books in the trunk because they said we couldn't sell things in the library. So do you want to give them the price of your book so they know?
Online, the books are 15 on. Usually, once we incorporate persona, it'll be 10 or something like that. So 10 a book or whatever in person, and online I believe it's 15 a book.
So you know I'm not robbing. 50 notes for one of your books. Because the Grand Sheik gave it to me, you know what I'm saying? Because Canaan Land chose me, you know what I'm saying?
Chosen one to pass out the books.
Yeah. All right. Well, we run out of library time because we booked a certain time, then all of a sudden they say, well,
all of a sudden, yeah, all of a sudden.
So we all like to thank you. Let me turn the lights on again. We all like to
See everybody?
Yeah. More people came in as we were doing it, so we gotta.
Yeah. Everybody's there. Just make sure you get yourself on the list, because we're working on something. Brother Jamal will keep you posted with but as far as forward, that whole promo stuff and flyers and let people know what's going on. It's elite and pristine attendance only now. So don't be looking for too much stuff outside of Canaan land. That's going to be promoted. It's going to be, invite only type of right? Anything else in closing?
Well, no, I just would like everyone to give the Grand Sheik a round of applause, please.
Again, thank you, Mark. Rise of the Moors, all the Moors that showed up. Definitely appreciate the energy at the time, and we'll definitely make up for this one with the Iron Sheik 7 and some other stuff that's going on in the future. So once Brother Jamal, that's actually the stuff.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for reaching out and putting us on.
Y'all too.
Oh, man. stuff in the library, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if you got, well, the sister got some products. If you want some magazines and stuff like that, then see the sister. You know, we don't all have to do what we want, right? Just, let's not make it hot, please. There's food here.